Yo, what's up, y'all? This is DJ Dopey, aka the Dope Man. I'm right here live with Blest One from the Antibiotics crew. I grew up listening to these guys' music. Gonna bust a little interview with them. Check it out.
You wanna pattern your whole game and skill after my rhymes are giving MCs breath to stress fracture. Call your album credit card for quiz, cause you get zero interest for the next 10 years. Your beats, your style, your scratches, and your show sucks. I pull vets off the streets like a tow truck. The R-A-P-P, all that you fear. And if you don't want CPR, then stand clear. Running shit coast to coast like L.O. Make you throw your hands up in the air and yell ho. Rocking second hand attire, the fans admire. And like Denzel, I'm the man on fire. And when it comes to ammunition, I got a ton of shit. Bring it here, receive severe punishment. I bless the mic, to bless the beats. And when DJs pick up the wax, it'll bless the streets. So peep, the mainstream scene is not the way it goes down. That shit'll lead you to the modern day Jonestown. That's why I came to set it straight, speak the truth. Yo, keep telling what we came to do. Come on. Rhyme to kill, rhyme to murder, rhyme to stomp, rhyme to ill, rhyme to rock, rhyme to kill, rhyme to murder, rhyme to stomp, rhyme to ill, rhyme to rock, rhyme to kill, rhyme to murder, rhyme to stomp, rhyme to ill, rhyme to rock, rhyme to kill, rhyme to murder, rhyme to stomp, rhyme to ill, rhyme to rock.
I got into hip hop in the early 80s, like breakdancing music and stuff like that, like, you know, Cybertron and Soul Sonic Force and all that, all the breakdancing scene, because I have an older brother, 6 years older than me, so he got me into all that. And later on I got into like Curtis Blow and the Fat Boys and Run DMC and all that. So, but it all started with the whole breakdancing b-boy scene, like in 82, 83 and all that. It was cool because there was a lot of people that was just into like music and breakdancing. Like we'd be out with cardboard out in the driveway. He would just come by, stop and start like breakdancing or battling and stuff like that. So everybody was real cool back then. I know like back then Kid Frost was doing like Commando Rock and all that stuff, the house parties and all that. But or Ice-T was doing house parties. So I would just hear them on the recorded stuff. But those were the most local for me. And 88, we met in high school, at Fontana High School. I had a friend, Marco. He introduced me to Greg, to Statistics. And then we started rapping together. We started doing some music. He was way out. He's always been way out. And I thought he was way out back in then, like 91, 92. And then I had Snag in a foods class. It was like a home economics class. And he found out that I rap, and he wanted to hear me rap. And so we made a connection right there. So that's when we all met at Fontana High School. About 92, 93, when we recorded our first demos, like You Burn Me and Up Yours, Rhyme Like No One, so like early 92, 93. The Ensoniq EPS, that's what we started with. I got an Ensoniq EPS, and then later on Snag got an ASR 10, so it was dope. Yeah, like we wanted to hear, like we grew up on like all kinds of old school stuff, but we like what Beastie Boys did with Paul's Boutique. Like the Dust Brothers, they sampled all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't anything that sounded like old regular hip hop. So we would go to like thrift stores and we'd get like Russian records or like opera records from China. We'd try to get the most random records so it didn't sound like normal, and then just make it like dope drums and stuff like that. That's what made it real dope hip hop, you know? I mean, I'm sure there's dope beats. I mean, I can't hear now. There's so many with the internet and all that stuff, but the majority of beats I hear, like it sounds the same. Like obviously I've never been into radio hip hop, but like a lot of it sounds similar, but there's a lot of dope beats probably somewhere, you know, I just gotta find it. The main spots we were performing was in Pomona on 2nd Street. Omar Goodness had the Taconazo, and he would do an event called Third Place with AC, the program director. And we would do shows there all the time. And so all the open mics were on 2nd Street for like 94, 95, 96. They were like The Mood, The Cypher, The Basement with DJ Phys Ed. And a big dope scene grew right there. So a lot of people, then Foundation came too. That was another dope scene with Gabriel and all them. But yeah, Pomona was like our bread and butter right there, 2nd Street. Well, like in that time, like Freestyle Fellowship was huge, you know, so that was like a big inspiration for us because people wanted to be like off the wall, weird and crazy. So we had to come with something that was dope because we were all three Mexican dudes and we didn't get accepted right away. You know, people just thought we were whack or whatever. But I guess we had to be real extra dope, and we grew on people like that. So that was a big motivation to be dope.
Caressing my ass lips, I bash clips. Also slurp on my bourbon. Several tones and deform cerebral bones. So schizophrenic, acting like someone else. I vanish fighters like Van Helsing. I'm the meaner with the wound demeanor.
Like Snag never stopped making music. Like he's still going, but like I had a career going on. I got married, I had kids. I just didn't find the time, extra time. And same thing with Greg. He had a big full-time job too, but he still makes music too on the side. So eventually we'll record something new. I mean, it's not what it used to be, obviously. I mean, probably by now it's all watered down with commercials and with movies, and some people probably see it like something corny, you know what I mean? But we'll never lose that golden era that's inside, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll always have that love for hip-hop, and there's a lot of dope hip-hop out there, you know, but you just got to find it.
Got you hoping I die soon, cause I back on more MCs than Bobby Jimmy. This ain't Denny's, I serve more towards the Santa Claus.
I told myself, like, I never want to be that guy. Like, oh, when I was younger, you know, the dope, but it's like, it just happens naturally. Just because you're used to a certain era. I mean, when we were young, the older kids probably thought we were stupid and whack, you know? So, I mean, I don't think they're dumb and whack, because I feel what they feel, you know what I mean? Like, now I know the younger cats are trying. I can see people who are trying to be dope and original, so, like, I'll support them and give them advice. But, I mean, obviously it's not the same like our era, you know?
Good to say that don't say nothing at all. You couldn't frighten me. Do you have any idea of who I might be? Unspoken of Ivy's.
Yeah, I think so. It has to, you know what I mean? Because there's just so much out there, and you see people now, everybody wants to get like all the old break beats. They want to find out, what did you sample? What did you listen to? So there's that curiosity, because I think because of that, all the stuff that's out is kind of watered down. They want something else. They still want that hip hop. So they're gonna have to either create something new or just dig and find something, you know? I don't know, I just have so many, like most of it's like hip hop albums and 12 inches. And then I have like a bunch of classic rock, I have like punk rock, a lot of breaks. I even have a lot of old Spanish records that I inherited from my parents, you know, that I sampled. A lot of my samples were like those old records from the 70s, like Los Angeles Negros and stuff like that, so. But yeah, just my whole collection, I just love the whole thing, you know? Once in a while, yeah, I don't have I sold my MPC 2000 XL, but now I'm using software. I'm using Ableton Live. Yeah, so that's what like Chainsaw Mike, he uses, and so we collaborate with that. Chainsaw Mike's this kid that, he's from Ontario, and he's a real dope, creative producer, just musician. He plays the guitar like nobody I've ever heard, and he's a dope MC. Like, that's a younger generation guy that's why the future is going to be good, because cats like that guy. He's just working right here in downtown still, you know, doing sheet metal work and providing for my family, and hopefully in good health, and digging for vinyl, you know, motivating my kids to make music too.
Your claims are preposterous.
Yeah, just shout out the whole Antibiotics crew, DJ Dopey, I mean, dope DJ right here, thank you for having me. And everybody from the IE, all the cats like Soup the Chemist, Max, Chainsaw Mike, all the whole crew from out there. Yeah, just be creative. If you're making music or DJing or anything that you do, just do it like for yourself. Don't do it for other people. Don't do it for like money or whatever. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but it's got to be like genuine. It's got to be from the soul, and that's what makes it dope. That's what makes people like you.
That flavor's strange to me. I've never tasted defeat. Heard your whole album.
Keep it dope as long as I can like a
Black, who is notorious for always forgetting his headphones. What do you got to say about that, man?
I'm too cheap to buy new ones. I'm way too cheap, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. I always forget his headphones. Always.
Imagine captains sailing across oceans, dwelling about painful commotions. Dark alley dwellers talking about extortion, making money convincing girls to have abortions. My battleship moves in slow motion, filthy with toxic and corrosion. A sick demented devotion under a hellbound spell potion. I'm a twisted kid stuck in an arcade with only one token, one death wish that's always sure to be hopeless. I'm ready to carve my name inside the demonic cave, ready to expand my body on a blanket filled with blood stains. Slow leaks of talent are dripping from over-flooded gallons. The city is based on angels, but yet they are still falling. Slit wrists shed a weakness. The devil is the only villain able to witness. Take a look outside. The bliss of crows and werewolves continue to cry.
Nah, alright, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're here live with the man, the legend, the myth, Feevo 1 from the D.O.C RTDK crew. We got him in a rare interview out here in Las Vegas, and we finally caught up with this man. So what's up, Fivo? How you doing, man? Just chilling?
Just chilling. Been a long time since I drank a beer, you know, trying to go sober, live longer.
Right.
Trying to stay in what they call the game.
Okay. What year were you born, man?
What year was I born?
Yeah.
72.
Okay, so that makes you what? 50?
50.
Okay, nah.
Makes me 50 years
Nah,
old.
for us.
38 years old.
You're 38 years old. So you got a lot of history with the whole LA graph scene and shit.
Well, just in general with Los Angeles.
Okay.
You know, not necessarily just graffiti, but we could say skateboarding, BMXing,
Right.
breakdancing, popping. Let everybody eventually into the street scene of, you know, music, graffiti. I think nowadays, you could say there's two different kind of cultures. I mean, you have the ones that could afford the up-to-date culture, and then there's the ones that kind of scrape, you know, the panties and all that just to stay in what they really love, in the culture that they've, you know, learned to grow with, you know what I mean?
Right.
Other people kind of pay their way in. They don't pay dues, you know what I mean?
Right.
They just kind of like, here, I go to the mall and buy a baseball cap, baggy pants, and some Pumas, and they think they're hip-hop, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the way you pay, and with paying dues, it's the guy that actually goes out there and, you know, scrawls the walls, break dances in front of somebody for quarters, you know, actually earns it.
Right.
And knows and respects it. There's too many fake people. You know, that everybody knows. I mean, even the real people sometimes find themselves asking themselves if they're really being real, or in fact, are they as fake as the people that, you know, the general population of hip hop. It's fake, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because the media has a lot of control in how people grow, you know? They're the salespeople for the malls, for the swap meets, and you know that, well, whatever they got going on TV is how the kids are dressing, and how the kids are talking, and what the kids want to see. It's just like promoting a famous movie. I mean, if you promote it enough times, people are going to want to go watch it, and that's how they're brainwashing people, turning our culture and dividing it into two. The people that know how not to be manipulated and brainwashed, they're the ones that don't want to be robotic. They don't want to have, you know, electronic eyes and have somebody else push buttons for them and tell them what to see and how to dress and what to feel and what to eat, you know what I mean? They're the underground cats. They're the ones that resist the temptation of falling for a couple of extra dollars, you know, that won't really get you nowhere, because in the end, if you don't know how to use it wisely, you're just going to become another MC Hammer or another forgotten graffiti artist, you know what I mean, that sold out to a company that bought him out for his art and made him forget about what really stands for the revolution, for the movement, for the street politics. I think that I do it just for basically me, you know, and if good things come with it, then, you know, you're not going to say no to you know, the bonus and the incentives that come with the package.
Right.
And knowing if you pay dues, you're not gonna have a guilty conscience. I mean, there's a lot of graffiti artists, heads out there that actually take the money knowing damn well they don't represent Los Angeles or the graffiti culture or hip hop in general or in fact the art gallery scene. You know what I mean? These guys learn how to draw, use a spray can, pick it up, take advantage of that whole scenario that, you know, graffiti is popular right now. And take advantage of that and sell their canvases and become very famous. And nobody's ever even heard of them. Like 2 years ago, they were nobodies. You know what I mean? They were just whatever.
So, check it, man. Tell us about how you got into the whole scene, what year it was, and what got you into it, man. You know, like what got you into the whole graffiti scene and shit.
For me, it was always whatever my older brothers did, being that they were.
Who were your older brothers?
My oldest
What did you
brother,
go by?
Ecstasy, and my well, not the oldest, but the one under him was Crime from D.O.C. At that time, we didn't have no D.O.C. D.O.C. didn't exist. It was just the fact that, you know, seeing East Coast graffiti movies, like the one that caught their attention that pulled me in also was Beat Street, you know?
Yeah.
The idea of like, yeah, you know, like learning how to pop, break dance, you know, doing graffiti on paper, started from doing little bubble letters, you know, to evolving into the arrows and the idea of like, you know, just hearing other people like, oh shit, like, you know, that person did that person did that. And the recognition you got from it from other people that were big in the streets, like, you know, leaders of gangs and all that, recognized graffiti, you know what I mean? Like, the movie was inspiring because you seen how much respect even the artist got after he passed away. Like Ramo got a lot of respect even after the fact he passed away. It's like once you do graffiti and you really fall in love with it and you do it and you devote yourself to it and put your heart and mix it with the passion and all that, and you're recognized in the streets, even if you die, people will always remember your name, you know what I mean? Because you're a staple, you know what I mean, in that city. And that's kind of like seeing my brothers, you know, actually do it, you know, live and ask, you know, having them ask me like, hey, you know, like, carry the crates, you know, we're gonna go hit this one spot, like, you know, do big letters and you're just gonna fill in, don't care. You know, it was like, fuck, I'm being accepted. I feel like this is something that, it's a rush, and then at the same time, it's like, fuck, it's family, you know what I mean? Like, you don't feel like you're, even in schools, when you go to school for the first time, they segregate you, you know what I mean? Like, you're a new student, and not in graffiti, man. Once you pick up the can and you're with somebody that has been doing graffiti or has done graffiti, automatically you become like an arm or a leg for them, or their watch out, or their, you know, somebody that they appreciate because you have respect for what the majority of society doesn't.
Right. So tell us about when you started writing and who you were chilling with after, you know, your brothers influenced you or whatever, they got you into the whole scene and shit. Who did you start hanging out with? And
at that time, it was more. That's when like the mini trucks were in. You know, that's.
What year was that?
There was like a period from the time we seen the Beat Street. It was like 82, 83. That's before the mini trucks. But that's when like popping was heavy. You know what I mean? Like everybody was into TikTok and, you know, breakdancing, learning moves. And you'd be surprised like how the East Coast influenced the West Coast to take it to the next level. That was like from 82, 83, it was all just popping, breaking, and BMXing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you went to 84, 85, 86, and 86, 87, that's when like the mini trucks and all that was real popular.
Yeah.
And that's when like a lot of people were actually, the guys that were gonna do it long term, they already had like their set names, like Doc 43. That was like an influence for us too, you know what I mean? Because he was already established. And then there was a cat named Dope from the West Los Angeles area too. He had like his own yard right before you hit Vermont and Beverly.
Yeah.
He had his own yard. And now it's like a bank on top of that. I don't know what they built on top of that, but yeah, mad pieces that people can't even do now. I mean, he was way ahead of his time. I was like, actually that year was probably like 87, 88. The people that influenced me a lot, I could say, was like the West Side LA writers. Like you had like FCT, which has been around for a long time. You had the Modern Art Kings, you know what I mean? The MAKs, the Mac crew. Then you had TDK, those damn kids. You had the TACs, the Tag All Cities, which were more like on the going towards like Glendale and all that, and the KCCs. And then you had OFAs too, but that was like more like towards like late 88 and 89, you know what I mean? Right. And I had a lot of influence because the high school I went to, Belmont High School, which was like a block away from like the biggest outlet that there was to graffiti writers, you know, to project their styles and to actually like go out and feel comfortable to do pieces and, you know, express themselves. Well, in that high school, you had from the beginning of not necessarily 18th Street, but the beginning of what Mara Salvatrucha is and Rockwood, and you know, you had 42nd Street. You had a lot of people that influenced you because either they influenced you in a good way or rather in a bad way. Like you seen how bad they had it, so you didn't want to go in that direction. So you chose either the graffiti direction or the gangbanging. You know, you either wanted a good atmosphere for your life, or to be in a good atmosphere, or you wanted to be stuck in a rut, like they say, you know what I mean? And the influences for me were even my own. Like years later, out here in Las Vegas, we even had like Static with like OFAs, and my influences were also them too from Belmont High School. You know what I mean? Like Roes and Scan. Those guys were a big influence. Rive, he was from OFA too. And these guys, I mean, to come to think that 20 something years later, you're gonna have Static with the people that kind of like inspired you. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like whack because you could see that how graffiti has evolved and traveled, and there's no. Some crews don't have control over what other members do in their crew. They don't even have no relation no more. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like leaving like a son abandoned somewhere, and then you don't ever see him no more. You know what I mean? Like you don't have no control over that. Anyways, derailing from all that, just elaborating how.
What do you think about back in your days and shit, like the early 80s or late 80s, the whole skater bombing?
Skater
a bunch of skaters and just bombing and shit. Tagging, whatever.
It's crazy because like everybody that skated was a writer, but nobody would tell anybody. Like you unless you were real close to that person, you would know who they were. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I knew like Rain from TDK. That cat, he was a skater, and I knew what he rode just because we were close. I knew Nuys rode because he was from the crew. Dio rode because he was from the crew. You know, other cats like Chaka. I knew they call him Chaka, but I never put to him. It's just weird how I found out after he quit skating that he was Chaka. You know what I mean? Like, he never knew who I was till recently, like 2 years ago at meeting of Styles. You know?
Yeah.
Like, and now he lives out here too in Las Vegas. And unfortunately, that's one person that I think that should be making. If anybody's making money, he should be the first to be involved in that pocket of money. You know what I mean? Like that pot of gold that they call it. You know? Right. Because he paid a lot of dues. On top of putting in so much work, I mean, he paid dues in prison. You know what I mean? Like convicted of something he loved to do and that never really killed nobody, but gave everybody like good paying jobs. You know what I mean?
Right. How'd the whole D.O.C crew come about?
D.O.C crew, like majorly, like it started like to give it like its full on like. The group was connected like since '86, but it still had no name to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my brother, Crime, already had a crew from back in the days called the Atomic Bomb Crew, but he was off and on, you know, having kids and all that. He was one of those that it wasn't an established crew and it wasn't gonna go too far, you know. But the D.O.C it grew from the Belmont Tunnel and from Belmont High School.
Yeah.
I started going to Belmont High School in '87. A lot of West Side graffiti writers went to that. West Side Los Angeles graffiti writers that till this day are recognized as Top Dogs, they went to that high school. It was like Gyro, for one. That dude Make from STNK2. A lot of the Rockwood cats that were graffiti writers or are graffiti writers came from that high school. You know, like Skep. I'm not sure if Skep went to the high school, but I know that he's one of them. To answer the question, D.O.C, to give it its full legitimacy, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think 88 was officially, like, influenced also by the rapper D.O.C. was more like where we became, you know what I mean? Like where we could say that that's where, all right, D.O.C. is born, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then from then on, it was the same people that hung out from the 86 and on, but at that 88, that's when we gave it its real, its name that we now recognize as, the original name was D.O.C Creations. A lot of people back then give themselves the credit that they supposedly started it and they had an influence, but they honestly, if you started something, you ain't around no more. You ain't from it. You can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's the one that started it? Who's the one that named the crew?
It was between Gyro, me, and my brothers were involved. But there's one person that he claims that he had a lot to do with it, just because he was always at the Belmont, which you guys probably know as Frame Nacho.
Yeah.
He probably won't admit it now that it's on tape, but from rumors, he told somebody from our crew that, yeah, I'm one of the reasons why D.O.C is around, because he influenced Gyro with it. Like I said, if you're from a crew and you ain't from it no more, obviously you ain't having no heart for it, so don't try to take credit now that it's established. You know?
Right.
But anyways, I think that from
So
that year and on, it's always been, it hasn't stopped, and it ain't gonna stop. A lot of crews have died out for 10 years, come back, and they want the same respect as people that emptied out more spray cans than they have, and illegally, you know what I mean? Not just illegally.
right. So tell us, in the 90s, the roaring 90s, when Graph was like at its full peak and shit, where was the D.O.C crew at? And where were you at? And who were you bombing with? And you know, what was your whole motivation at that point and shit?
At that point, we were all over the place. We were one of the first crews, not the first people to go to the Inland Empire from Los Angeles to Payne, but the first crew to go take over another county that wasn't our county. I mean, I went into the Inland Empire representing Los Angeles, and we took over that county, you know, rightfully. You know what I mean? We went out there and represented illegally. We did billboards, and then I started bringing other people from other crews from Los Angeles to go paint and rack paint in the Inland Empire because it was so easy. You know what I mean? And already in Los Angeles, it was like a big old, it's like a yard sale where they're selling gold for a penny, you know what I mean? Like a penny a pound, like everybody was there, you know what I mean? And LA was too, what I'm trying to say is that LA was too infested with so many writers that it was time to spread the love somewhere else, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's when I took our crew to the Inland Empire. At that time, it was, damn, there was so much shit going on that there was confusion whether you were a graffiti writer or you were a gangbanger.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, you were just graffiti. You know what I mean? Right there, people would hit you up like you were a gangbanger, like, hey, where you from? You know, and you contested them with like, yeah, I'm from such crew, you know, and I write this. And if you weren't from a crew, I'm just, you know, Feevo One, you know, I'm just the one. I run alone. But they would hit you up and with the idea and hoping that you would give them something to, you know, fight about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they wanted to create an image, you know, some crews wanted that image, like that tag banging image. That slowed down graffiti a lot because it scared a lot of true writers, you know, and they stopped doing it because they saw that it was heading, you know, hellbound basically. That it was gonna get nowhere. The media started fucking with it and projecting it into the people's eyes on the news that it was bad. And then you created more heroes on the street because all the people that watched the news were paranoid about graffiti writers. They thought that if you wrote on a wall, you would obviously carry a gun, which wasn't true. You know, true writers never carried guns. You know, it was like a cheap scapegoat for people that wanted a gangbang, but at the same time didn't want to commit themselves to the real gang, so they could be able to pull out whenever they wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and leave the scene whenever they wanted to. Because, you know, in Los Angeles, or in certain gangs, once you're in a gang, you're in a gang forever. You know what I mean? You can't get out. You know, you could leave, but you're still from that gang. And eventually it'll catch up on you. And these, to me personally, I think that tag banging was made up by people that were scared to really gangbang with real gangbangers. Created by people that wanted to bully real riders that weren't interested in killing each other rather than they were more interested in unity, you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you went to San Bernardino, what crews were out there and what year was that? When you guys were rocking shit in the IE?
When I first moved out there, the first crew that I recognized was United for Destruction, UFD. They're the first people that actually found out some way. I don't know, they just found out where I stood. And somebody...
Oh, let me retract real quick. What part of the IE were you in?
At that time being, I was in Rialto, California. And it's tripped me out because they came and knocked on my door, you know what I mean? The UFD crew. And introduced themselves, they welcomed me in, you know, we know you're such and such, and, you know, we welcome you to the Inland Empire. They were like probably the only crew that kind of accepted the fact that I came from Los Angeles and liked the idea that I was there. Other crews, you know, I would get up, or gangs in Rialto, San Bernardino, and all that, in those areas, like Bloomington, Fontana, they would cross me out because I would rock LA on my throw-ups, you know what I mean? Like, they would actually diss me. But, you know, what could you say? Two different counties, they have past experience or past, you know, problems from the past with Los Angeles. And just because you hit LA up representing where you come from, they're gonna cross you out because they already have personal shit with other gangs that are from LA. So they don't want nobody from another county there. But I did my thing and I didn't care. I'm the kind of person that if you're gonna hate on me, I'm gonna let you hate on me. I mean, that's like being a football player and having a fan that doesn't like you. I mean, you can't do nothing about it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just keep doing what you do, let them keep hating, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it. And I kept just doing my throw-ups, putting LA up, getting dissed. And I looked at it like, well, somebody's noticing my shit.
Yeah. What year was this?
It was like a 92, 93.
Alright.
Actually 91, 92, 93. For the years that's how long it took me to actually establish myself in the Inland Empire. Then from then on, my daughter was born. I took a little minor break or camouflage break where my family thought I wasn't doing it, but I was, you know what I mean? Low key. Scribes, buses. Just whenever I had the time, I would do it. But I never stopped. I never was the kind of person, and still to this day, I'm not the kind of person that's going to stop for nobody.
Right.
And I could only inspire people to do what I do because I feel that that's... People call it a crime, I call it a way to relieve stress, man, and a way to get back money that they take from me. You know what I mean? I pay taxes to have the streets clean, so I'm gonna participate in dirtying them. You know what I mean? If I rent a party hall, I'm gonna fucking party in it, and they're gonna pick up after me because I paid for it. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking canvas, and there's no... I don't see the reason why they can't accept it. Blank walls are a waste of fucking paint anyways. You still gotta paint the walls. Might as well just decorate them with something nice. You know? Give people...
But what do you feel about the piecers that talk shit about bombers?
Saying that shit about bombers because there never were bombers. You know, they never made it a thing to say, oh, don't expect me home tonight, honey, because I'm not coming home, I'm going bombing. They never had that. I think that...
Do you think it's like two classes, like maybe a middle class and a...
It's just like society that has its lower class, which are the fools that don't give a mad fuck, that go out and scribe, tag, bomb, regardless of how the shit looks or what anybody has to say about it. And then you have your middle class that have done all that lower class shit and moved up and paid, you know what I mean? And scaled. And now they do the dirt, but find time for their legal walls to, you know, to relax, kind of, you know, when they can't do the illegal stuff, they find outlets to, you know, do their legal stuff just to be able to say that they're in the game still.
Right.
Then you have the ones that are the high class that just kind of inherited the money and just bought their way in. The ones that went to art school and were trained by, like they were actually puppeteered into believing that there's certain ways you got to do shit and angles and shadows and the sun's over here, so I got to do my piece and my shadow's a certain way or else it's not right. Well, I think that's bullshit because graffiti has no rules. If it had rules, there would be just specific colleges that would be called graffiti schools, not art schools. You know what I mean? They wouldn't call it art school. They would call it graffiti school. And it's sad to say, but there's people that fucking don't deserve to fucking speak on graffiti. I mean, they ain't vandals. They're just artists, man. And it's fucking sad that they have a say-so in what they never even stepped in. You know what I mean? They never dirtied their shoes. They never understood what it was to be a lower class vandal and build your way up.
Right.
Those fuckers just ate up our fucking culture and for the most part, a lot of those cats represent homosexual graffiti, if you guys, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, like, it's like, there's, the hoodie sweater with the baggy jeans, and the dark at night look, camouflage like a ninja. That's the lower class, that's straight up like, bomber dude, you know what I mean? Like, wants to, feel like a bomber. But then you have these dudes now that at galleries dressed up like Picasso and Da Vinci, dude, and even wear like funny hats, you know what I mean? Like, wear makeup, dude, to their galleries. And like, you know what I mean? That to me is like, fuck. You obviously made it known that you don't have a clue of where you're coming from, man. Like,
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, some of those facts will kick my ass, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're good at fighting, but they're not good at being in jail, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're not good at paying dues. They're not good at running from cops. You know what I mean? They never experienced that, I can't breathe no more, I can't run no more, the cops are gonna get me, I'm fucked. They never were able to say that they hid in a trash can, that they jumped out of a fucking RTD bus window. They can't even say that, man. Like, these dudes they drive brand new fucking cars because they never learned how to walk downtown Los Angeles or catch a bus. They were handed the keys to a new car from day one. They have some other guy carrying their fucking canvases into their galleries, setting their shit up, you know what I mean?
And yet they represent supposedly LA and shit.
And they represent Los Angeles, but they grew up in Granada Hills, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of dope graph heads that travel from the Valley, from, the SGV, from all over to come to Los Angeles. But when you say you're from Los Angeles or dig graffiti in Los Angeles, recognize that, Los Angeles is its own domain, you know what I mean? Like,
where'd you grow up?
I grew up in downtown Los Angeles, man. That's where I grew up helping my dad pick up cardboard in downtown.
On what streets?
All of the streets in downtown. We picked up cardboard.
What streets?
Where
what
I
streets
lived,
you grew up?
I grew up in Occidental and Temple.
Okay.
By Tommy's, by Beverly and Rampart.
Yeah.
I stood there. I stood on 3rd and Commonwealth.
All right. So, take it from
junior high, Belmont High School. I mean, it's the west side of Los Angeles.
Right.
To me, it's.
So from the 90s to now, what do you think is going on with the scene and shit? Like, what are your thoughts on the whole scene and how it's evolved and like how all this new school fucking body art and all this tagging on girls and shit and
somebody privileged to do graffiti on a girl that other people think like I wish.
And what do you think of all these people trying to bank on that? Like,
I don't know how you bank on. I mean, the only bank that I know that's getting stimulated is probably the mental bank. You know what I mean? Because you're drawing on a girl, a nude girl. You're putting letters that belong on a wall on a girl, and the girl's degrading herself, believing that it's like a.
Do you think the girl even likes that shit?
The girl doesn't like it, but somebody brainwashed her to believe that she looks good in it, and she'll be admired by other men, and girls like that attention. Like, that's why you have prostitutes, you have hookers, you have strip dancers, you have girls that just fucking love to expose their bodies because that's the only way they feel confident, you know what I mean? Like, they makes them feel like they're somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their body makes them feel like they're somebody. I mean, that's why you never see big fat, which I would be like glamour to see, you know what I mean? Like big fat woman or dudes getting body art on them. Why doesn't a dude do body art on another dude? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess it will happen, just like gay rights. Now you can get married if you're gay. A man get married with another man. I guess throughout years, people bend rules to benefit their liking, and that's what will happen eventually with graffiti. I mean, you'll have dudes drawing on other dudes. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Have, like you said, draw a big subway on some dude's penis. You know what I mean? Like, and somebody's throw up on that subway on the dude's penis, man. Like,
Yeah.
like people will get off on that, man. It just hasn't happened yet. Maybe it has happened, but a lot of people haven't came out of the closet because they're scared that if they reveal themselves, that graffiti won't sell, and you know, in their art gallery.
Yeah. All right.
A lot of shit we're talking about probably doesn't make no sense. It's out of anger.
Well, it is 5 in the morning or 6. Time is
What the heck?
7. 7-11.
Hungry baby time. The baby's hungry. Huh.
It's 6:10. Well, any like last words, man? You know, like it's 2009.
It's 2009.
Where do you think graffiti's going? Where do you think this fucking world is going, man? Like, you know, back like 5 years ago, we used to have some crazy, in-depth, you know, conversations and shit on how the world was all whack and shit. It's 5 years later or whatever. What do you think is happening now? And you know, where do you feel this world is going? You know, like
I think that people are underestimating their own power, man. You know, people are waiting for the same people that have been fucking us for the beginning of fucking time, the rich class, the high class, the bankers, you know, the gods, the societies, the secret societies. People are still lazy and they're still waiting for them to actually help us get out of our own fucking hole. They're not gonna help us get out of a hole. They're the reason why we're in this fucking hole.
yeah,
Because they're money hungry and they're the corporate greed, you know what I mean? People need to understand that. I've heard it from you one time. You told me we're all gods. We just gotta find our what kind of god we are and step it up to actually respecting that we are all our own god, you know what I mean? We're gods in amnesia. That's what I remember you saying. And I've always thought about that. I mean, I shared it with my lady, and I told her, yeah, we're all gods in amnesia. That don't wait for the God to come help you. Help yourself. We're in this fucking shithole right now, and in these bad circumstances because we've always depended on the person that slaves us and the person that pulls our fucking strings to help us out of it. And they could see us drowning, and all they're gonna do is let us drown, and we'll just be another fucking story for the media to cover. You know what I mean? Like, oh, 100 more fucking ignorant motherfuckers drowned because they were waiting on the higher society to pull them out of the fucking river, and it's not gonna happen, man. We gotta help ourselves, learn how to swim, learn how to fucking be what we have to be in the environment we live in. If you live in a gang infested environment, then learn how to protect yourself in that environment and learn how to advance out of that environment.
right.
A lot of people say that it's not good to get out of the hood because if you leave the hood and don't come back, that's a bad thing. Shit, give that same person that said that a fucking $1 million, see if he stays in the fucking hood. You know what I mean? It's his money stolen from his own hood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that we're in a bad situation right now. Let's do something about it as a society, link together, rather than, oh, close your windows, close your doors, close your curtains, don't let them see what you have inside because they're going to take from you. It's not even, if you can't even trust your own neighbors, I mean, then you ain't doing nothing about it. I mean, then it's a problem that you build on your own. And then I look at it like this, man. All the wrong people are fucking banking off graffiti. It's time for the people that have built the fucking foundation, the base. They put the base, build the foundation, build the fucking graffiti, you know, culture. It's time for them to bank. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I deserve it. I'm just saying that there is a lot of people out there that have put in paid dues, that are dope ass graffiti artists that could paint beautiful, you know, sculptures. I mean, well, you know, beautiful fucking art on the walls, and they ain't getting the damn thing. But just, oh, that's dope. You know what I mean? And the guy that barely joined graffiti and could draw dope is painting pictures of women on the wall, or pictures of beautiful faces on the wall, and he gets paid for it, and it's like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing, man. We're letting graffiti turned into what our government has turned into.
Right.
Next thing you know, we're gonna have new fucking society of graffiti telling the actual people that worked it so long how to do their things. I mean, that's what it's coming to, man. Like, we're letting rich fucking graffiti kids exploit our fucking culture and take it, man. Just the same shit they did with fucking rap music, man. People had their voice, people's voices were being heard, and the government realized that, man, we can't let this shit get out, man. We're gonna have too many of these fuckers link up, and it's gonna be a fucking revolution, and we're gonna lose. You know what I mean? For every one of us, there's gonna be 1,000 fucking of these fucking good artists, these good rappers that teach other rappers how to be good people too, and then we're gonna have a society flips upside down. You know what I mean? Like, the little bit of all these rich fuckers, we're gonna get ganged up by all these fucking people that were educated, and they're scared of us, man. They're scared of fucking real people, man.
Right.
They're scared.
All right.
Police is trained to hold us back, man, and arrest us and contain us and put us in rooms confined from other people that want to listen to what we gotta say, man. That's bullshit.
Cool, man. All right. We're here with Fivo, D.O.C RTDK. Any last words for the camera? Any shout outs?
Just everybody that does graffiti, man, just do it. And don't expect nothing out of it, man. It's a crime, man. You know what I mean? Remember, it's a crime, and if you love to do crime, do it. If you ain't doing the crime, then you ain't a graffiti band. You're just a good painter, man. Fuck.
All right. There we go. Segue into the ice house. Sas y Sas. All right. Fivo, peace out, man.
Doctors of crime destroying our city. Doctors of crime destroying our city. Doctors of crime destroying our city.